What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for joining me back at Life by the Slice, where we are taking life one slice at a time. We are now on part 4. So, let me start this timer. Alrighty, so on part 4, like I said, in part 3 I left off with me, I finally told my counselor, and she pretty much made me feel bad about it. She pretty much made me feel shit about it because of my addictive behavior, my past as an addict, which I really wasn't looking for. So, despite that, I feel like God was, even today, God's continuously testing me. All of us, that's all of us. And I let her know, which she was pretty sympathetic, more sympathetic than empathetic about my situation, which I didn't mind. But I ended up telling her, and what she tried to tell me, this is gonna blow you guys' minds. She had the nerve to tell me that it would be best if I waited a week, an entire week, to tell my husband that I'm HIV positive. Right. Doesn't that sound fucked up? But it blew my mind, and I was just sitting there and I was thinking to myself, why so long? And then she mentioned to me, you know what, so he can relax, because my husband did just have a major surgery at this point. And this was, it could have been, it was damn near life threatening. It was damn near life threatening. But he's a strong man, and he stuck it out. I love you, baby. Shout out to you. But getting back into the story, she told me to wait a week. And in order, she was on this power trip all the time. And Ivan didn't like her either, because that was my best friend. That was my friend Ivan's fucking counselor too. So he didn't like her either, but he knew how to finesse people a little bit more than me, which I was a little bit more straightforward, where either I liked you or I don't. He was the same way too, but at the end of the day, he knew how to finesse people a little different. But so I asked as if I'm listening to her, and I agreed to wait the week. So I was lying. Oh my goodness. I was lying. But, and so after that, later that night, she leaves the building. And we still had a few counselors on call. And I was talking to Ivan and Lisa. And I said, you know what, I have to tell him this now. I have to tell my husband right now. And they definitely expressed they were behind me 1,000,000%. So I had decided to call my husband. Well, I asked the counselor, who wasn't my counselor, if I could use the phone, because if it is an emergency situation. Me not telling my husband that I'm HIV positive. Me not telling my husband that I'm HIV positive while not knowing if he is, or even giving him the chance to hurry up and get tested, I feel like that was really wrong of my counselor. That was serious for her to just tell me, oh, wait a week. That's like stabbing somebody, and they have a fatal wound, and that's like, yeah, that's like somebody with a fatal stab wound who can't see that they're bleeding, and you tell them, okay, wait a week. What the fuck do you think is gonna happen to that man in a week? He's gonna be dead. But I don't want to get too pissed off and too beside myself. That's just not, since getting clean, that's just not how I roll. That's not how I want to live, and I refuse to. So, but I called my husband. And at this time, I'm not thinking anything is wrong. But I potentially knew, with my addictive behavior and how I was as an addict, that this was my fault. And just thinking about the fact that my husband could be HIV positive just really fucked me up inside. I wasn't even worried about me at that point. I was worried more about my husband, because I love him. We've been together 10 years. Married 8 years. But I solely remember on that phone conversation. I remember I remember getting on the phone and he just didn't. He sounded bad. He sounded bad. And I remember telling him that I'm HIV positive. That was the hardest part. That was the hardest part of any of this story. Any of this story. I know you guys are like, wouldn't finding out that you're HIV positive be more serious? To be honest, at that point, no. My husband's life was more important to me. And it always will be. Although I care about my life and I come first. And I know in recovery, I come first. Because I can't give anything to anybody if I don't have enough. And that's just a true statement. You can't give shit to somebody if you ain't got nothing. So, a minute and a half into the conversation, my husband tells me, I'm done with you. I want a divorce. The feeling in the pit of my stomach. I feel like I had already got my ass whooped getting the HIV diagnosis. So now facing divorce, now being in the middle of divorce was just, I didn't know what the fuck to do with myself. But one thing I kept doing, and I want you guys to all do, I kept praying. I didn't pray selfishly. I didn't pray like I needed a favor. I prayed to God to keep me strong. And I couldn't hold up though once he told me that I told him that I was HIV positive and he said that he wanted a divorce. He just hung up on me. Ooh, shit. And after that conversation, I spoke my counselor. She's just yapping in my ear saying all this dumb shit, and she assumes, which I'm gonna get to how I caught HIV. Of course, I was doing a lot of cheating back then. I was a lot of cheating. I was an addict. I was gone. I didn't care. I was a demon. I was evil. But where I got HIV and how I got HIV would actually surprise you guys, which I'm going to get into. Definitely. I just want to give you guys everything that I have, directly, truthfully, honestly, clearly. So he hangs up on me. I just remember going to my crew. At this point, I know everybody in rehab. Everybody. So, me having HIV wasn't a secret in rehab because I didn't want it to be a secret. I didn't care for it to be a secret because I was so confused and I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know how to keep that to myself. And to be honest, before even talking to anybody, I had a plan. And this is serious. I've had so many suicidal attempts, it's not even funny. So, but this thought was completely different. I had planned on, later on that night, everybody going to sleep, the TAs, everybody's relaxing. But yeah, we're going to get back to that in... Wait, hold up. I don't think I'm over the time. Well, my lovelies, we are not over the time, but we are pretty much going to wrap this video up. So we are in part 4. So we're going to go into part 5, and I really want to like make this story, I want to condense it so you guys can see all of the content and not feel like I'm just rambling on. I definitely don't want to give you guys that at all. So, wrapping up, my plan was to commit suicide. fuck. My plan was to leave rehab in the middle of the night. Go bump some change. Shit, go bump some change off the street. Get enough money to get myself drunk and to kill myself. That was a thought that I had in my head for a good 2-3 hours until I got some good news and everything changed. But we're gonna wrap this video up, and we are going to get to video 5, and I will have video 5 and 6 for you guys tomorrow. Like I said, I really don't want this story to go no farther than probably 7 or 8. And like I said, I want to use 2 videos for the education piece. I want to be able to I want to be able to destigmatize this for you guys, because I know some of you really don't understand what HIV is, because until it's really a problem, a lot of people don't care. And I'm not saying you guys don't care, but that's just true, because I didn't really give a shit about AIDS and HIV until I got it. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'm going to see you guys for part 5, which will be released tomorrow. So I love you guys, and I will see you next video. Peace out.